Soybean aphid is a huge issue, and as Brian mentioned earlier, the worst problem that we can see in our soybean fields in terms of insects, because it's a piercing, sucking bug that just takes the life out of our soybean plants, and oftentimes we can see huge yield losses because we have this pest.
Soybean aphids have only been a problem in the United States for about 15 years. So when Darren and I were growing up on the farm, never had this problem at all. And when the problem did show up in the United States, there were a lot of people who said, oh, lady beetles will take care of soybean aphids. And to some degree, they can. So if you're seeing lots of lady beetles around your area, chances are you've had lots of soybean aphids in the last 2 or 3 years. With soybean aphids, the threshold is actually much lower than you will commonly hear. And here's the reason why I wanted to bring this up today. This is the most important thing with soybean aphid. The threshold should always, for every insect, be an economic threshold. There is not just a treatment threshold, there's not just a spraying threshold, there's not just a threshold in general, it should always be economic. And by economic, what I mean is, can you treat and make money by treating? Okay, so that's going to change depending on the price of the soybeans. It's going to change depending on the price of the application and the insecticide. So when you start looking at the true economics of this thing, then every year the threshold will be a little bit different. That's where I get so upset about soybean aphids, because many people out there will say, well, 250 aphids, that's the threshold. No, it's not. I can promise you that is not the threshold. I can absolutely guarantee you, bet my life on it, that is not the threshold. It's going to vary. If your crop is worth absolutely nothing and the treatment costs $200 an acre, is the treatment threshold still $250? No, the treatment threshold is probably $100,000. But on the other hand, if the insecticide costs $2 like it does today, the soybean price is, let's call it $8 or more, and you take a look at the thing, you go, hey, wait a second here. I'm getting 70 bushel beans, or I'm hoping for that, times $8, and it only cost me $2 to spray. I'm out there anyway doing something else, spraying some fungicide or foliar fertilizer, whatever. For $2, you bet I'm spraying. My economic threshold might be 10 aphids per plant, or 20, or 30, or 50. All I know is it's not 250. So don't just fall into the trap of, well, unless it's 250, I can't spray. Absolutely wrong.
Well, here's the problem with soybean aphids. They don't evenly disperse across your field. So you can't just go to any plant and say, well, how many are on this plant? Oh, it's 50. Well, the next plant's got 50 as well. No, it's not like that. There's going to be some plants that have 2,000 aphids on them, and then others that have 0. And it's hard to know, well, how does that average out across my field? Because I'm certainly not going to walk a whole 160 acre field and look at every single plant. So you've got to be on the lookout for those hot spots in your field. If you're using satellite imagery, if you're using drones, this may be a way that you can find some of those spots a little bit more effectively. If you're out with that drone and you say, wow, there's a spot that looks different, and that brings you out to that part of the field and you find that you have an aphid hot pocket, I would say get after it right away. Spray those areas of the field. You may not even have to spray the whole field. But here's the easy way. If you're walking fields and you say, I just need a heads up about where they might be the worst, well, it's probably about right where I'm standing in this particular field. Now, this is a cornfield, but it's right by a tree belt. Oftentimes we see these aphids being prolific right around those tree belts. They overwinter on buckthorn plants, and buckthorn plants are found in tree belts. So if you've got a tree belt near your field, that's where I would be scouting first, looking for soybean aphids.
The other thing with soybean aphids is the numbers can literally explode in no time. 77 degrees is the ideal temperature for reproduction, and the numbers will double in less than a day at 77 degrees. So literally you could go from, hey, I walked down in the field, I just saw a few aphids there, and 5 days later you're going, oh my goodness, I am too late. So make sure you are on top of this thing. The way a lot of people look at it, like we do, is we go, you know, we only this year have 1,000 acres of soybeans. It's going to cost me $2,000 in insecticide. That's it. So let's say that I spray 5 years in a row. That's $10,000. I just have to recover more than $10,000 over the course of 5 years in terms of yield. We pull the trigger really early. There was some research done by South Dakota State University about 10 years ago that showed at R2, you only needed maybe 10 aphids per plant or 20 aphids per plant. It was just a ridiculously low number at the economics we have today. So I just really encourage you be scouting your fields on a very regular basis, pull the trigger early, spray a good pyrethroid that's going to cost you somewhere around $2 an acre. If you want to bump it up to Lorsban or bifenthrin, you're going to spend an extra couple bucks, no big deal, but get the spraying done, be on top of it. Once you hit 250, you're way too late. You've already lost yield, I can promise you that.
The other products to be aware of are Transform and Safina. They're very specific to which insects they control, aphids being one of the very few on their labels. Many farmers like to use those if they're concerned about leaving the beneficials alone out in the field. They are very, very effective aphid control products, but they do cost a little bit more. One other thing that is going to cost you a little money in your field is controlling our weed of the week. We'll show you how to stop it coming up next.